Hello, guys. Thanks for tuning in to another episode. Today's guest is Jajuan Harley, current NFL free agent safety. We talked a bit about what was going through his mind while he was transferring from one college to another back in the day, as well as some of the important lessons that he's learned throughout his high school, college, and pro career. But before I spoil too much, roll the intro. Hopefully this works. First time using this thing, so we'll see how it goes.
Oh, it'll work. I believe it will. Third time the charm, right?
Third time's the charm, right? Yeah, man. So again, thanks for coming on tonight to do this. For those of us that don't know too much about your story, give us a bit about your background in football and how you got started playing, and maybe a bit about your high school career.
I picked up the football first time ever at 18 months, I was told. And, ever since then, it's been a journey towards getting to the top of the pinnacle. I don't remember. I was just told at 18 months, my dad, every night he had to throw the football with me. If it was just 5 minutes or a whole hour, but we had to get that football thrown. And so, as I grew up, I picked up other sports such as track, basketball, and other things. And also, I was part of martial arts as well at an early age. In high school, that's when I really started to hone my abilities and really understand that I can do certain things that many couldn't do at my age and at that time. Um, it was a very, very humbling at that time because I didn't realize how gifted I was because I worked so hard. So I really just thought it was hard work paying off, which it was technically, but I really started to understand what kind of gift I was blessed with. And, it took me to getting scholarships all over the country. It took me to getting to the pinnacle, the NFL, and playing some arena and some CFL and stuff. So, yeah, my journey has been pretty wild, including being my own agent and nutritionist, strength coach, and businessman as well.
Yeah, kind of a jack of all trades kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's it's crazy how much health and fitness has evolved now into pro sports, and how much of a factor it is when you got guys like Tom Brady and Drew Brees, playing into their late 30s or early 40s. They wouldn't be able to do it, you know, 40, 50 years ago without the modern technology of health and fitness. So it's interesting to see that, or to hear that you've really taken a focus onto that and kind of understanding how important it is as an athlete.
Oh, definitely, man. You have to. They have studies that shows that, at a certain age, an athlete starts to deteriorate. But if the athlete is or the person is taking care of their body, putting the right things in their body, and not abusing their body, it's a great chance that you will surpass that standard or that statistic that's out there. Many times they say by the age of 25, athletes start declining. But actually, in reality, when you're taking care of your body, it's a great bridge when an athlete at age 27, 28, 29 is just hitting their peak. And that's when they are stronger than ever, faster than ever. The testosterone is at a high peak. So, it's basically how you treat your body. You have to treat it like it's a car. If you want your car to last for a long time, you checking the oil, keep it tuned up, and that's the same thing with the body.
Yeah. And I think too, talking about health and fitness, a lot of people they first jump to physical health and physical fitness, but I think mental fitness and mental health is just as important as physical health and physical fitness. What are some things that you do to kind of keep your mental health kind of in check?
Well, what I do is I surround myself with positive people and positive things. I make sure that I'm taking in positive images. So I'm careful of what I allow my eyes to see. I'm careful of what I allow my ears to take in as well. Just as like I'm watching the food that I'm putting in my body or the drinks I'm putting in my body. So I feel like that's what's helping me stay a positive person, staying motivated, staying encouraged through hard times, overcoming battles because my intake on the images and the sounds that the universe gives, that's what I focus on, positive energy. And that's what's helping me keep my confidence up through hard times.
Hmm. Yeah, talk maybe about how much that helped you kind of. I know you had transferred away from Florida State, and that probably wasn't an easy decision to make, or one that you couldn't make without the help of others. Whose advice, or who did you kind of seek out to help you make that decision?
Well, I relied on my parents a lot. You know, they are very supportive. They always allow me to make decisions. They stand behind them, and no matter what, they given support 100%. They knew they raised me a particular way, and that's to have a backbone, and that's to, not be afraid to make decisions that could be hard and be able to live with those decisions. So my parents really was there 100% of the time, throughout that process. Yes, it wasn't easy because you leaving home, attached to Florida to move to Tennessee, but um, it was tough. It was tough at Florida State. Mental battles, physical battles. Overcoming heat stroke, two swollen kidneys. Then having coaching changes. Coaches want to move you from one position to another, just to get you out of their hair. And then you go to the next school, and coach want to change how you play, and you have to figure out how to keep your confidence up to come up with some great stats and numbers that when I look back on is like, wow, these are stellar numbers.
Yeah, yeah, I can't even imagine. I mean, Florida State is a pretty big school, and I think for me and for a lot of people, it would take a lot of guts to transfer away from that school, kind of leaving the big ACC school and going to Middle Tennessee State, which obviously isn't a Power Five school. Um, what were kind of your emotions leading up to the transfer away? Were you sad to leave Florida State at all? Did you have any, moments shortly after where you thought you had made the wrong decision or you regretted it at all?
No, no. One thing I do not do is regret because that's how things were supposed to be. If I didn't go through those triumphs, I wouldn't become the person I am now to keep persevering through tough times, and keep believing that greater could come. Um, yes, I knew it was a powerhouse team, but knew my ultimate goal, and that's was and still is to be in NFL, to get to that pinnacle and stay to that pinnacle. But you have to make sacrifices, and one thing that I really remember, and I'm always going to take heed to, and that's what Jimbo Fisher always preached. It was that boys do what they want to do, and men do what they have to do, and that was a decision that I felt like as a man, that's what I had to do to become the person I am today. And if I never made that decision and I did what I wanted to do as a boy, I still would be a boy to this day. I would not be
Mhm.
able to speak to you as a man with a stern backbone.
Mhm. And again, yeah, sorry, the main motivation for leaving, was it the position change or was it playing time? Was it a combo of both?
Well, it was a position, playing time. I'm a competitor, so at the end of the day, I will put in the work to get my playing time. That's no problem with that. What it was, they wanted to move me to linebacker, which I was fond of. I was cool with, but I asked for a red shirt so I could learn the position. Because once you're in college, that time is ticking. It doesn't stop. It constantly rolls. And I just was hoping to get a red shirt so I could at least learn the position, develop, put the weight on, so it won't be bad weight to become an effective and efficient linebacker. Unfortunately, it wasn't granted that. I don't fault anyone. I don't hold any grudges towards any of the coaches or anything. I just knew that it was just time to move on. But on a great note is that when they tried to move me there, I learned three positions. So now you're saying a guy, he learned corner, safety, and linebacker in college. So that's seven positions that many, many, many athletes don't get a chance to do in football.
For sure. No, yeah, it's almost like you can play different positions now, no matter what league you go to. Different leagues are set up, different play styles, different teams, different play styles. So you're right. Yeah, I gave you a lot of flexibility for the future. Um,
Absolutely.
then when you transferred out, and obviously you had to sit out the 2011 season when you're part of Middle Tennessee State, and I know that that team didn't do so hot that year. I think you guys went 2-10 or something like that. What was kind of going through your mind? on the sidelines, not able to participate and not helping your team when they were struggling on the field?
What was going through my mind is because at that time I'm on scout team,
Mm,
and I'm like, well, I must go harder to help these guys out. I feel like I was letting the team down because what they do in practice is what you do in the game. So my philosophy was I had to keep going harder and go harder, and I felt bad because the scout team, which I was a part of, didn't make the team better, and that's what was going through my head. I couldn't make the team better when I really felt like I should have. What should I have done? Going harder, blitz harder, tackle harder, something. And to this day, I still think about that because helping others is what I love to do, and I felt like I couldn't do it like I wanted to at that moment.
mhm. When even in that 2011 year, obviously you were kind of the newer guy in the team, not so much a freshman, but I guess that would have been your junior season. And coming in kind of as a fresh face, what kind of things did you do, or how hard was it to kind of be one of the guys on that team and kind of get that team chemistry up?
Well, it really wasn't hard to win the fellas over. The guys they saw the hard work that was put in on my all time and during the time that was needed with the team. You know, uh, the players accepted me well. Unfortunately, it just I couldn't win over the coaches,
Mm,
and that's something that bothered me for a long time because it really, really started to affect me because I'm a young kid still at the time, and to go through that mental battle was pretty tough. When I look back on it and I look on it, if I didn't have the positive influence of my mother and my father, I truly believe I would broke down, and you wouldn't be talking to me in this interview today.
mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it's for sure. It's crazy, when you think about how much parents help you out throughout your life. Different situations, kind of sometimes also in unexpected situations too. Your parents come and help you out. So it really seems like your mom and dad really kind of was that that rock in your family kind of thing that kept you grounded, kept pushing you to do the right thing, and yeah, it's funny how life works out sometimes.
Oh, definitely, man. That's why I'm a big believer of, honor your mother, honor your father. And I'm just grateful that I was raised in a two-parent home. Unfortunately, my dad passed in 2018. And then my mom, they've been married, what, 34 years? He passed, 2 days after my birthday in 2018. And then a couple months, less than a year, she's diagnosed with, in the same year, with breast cancer. So and she survives it. She
Hmm.
survives. She won bail in August. I'm sorry, I think it was August 3rd. And that just shows they knew that they had to pass something down to me, and what they passed down was perseverance. To persevere through the hard times and always looking for greater times. It may be dark right now, but the sunshine is coming. It's coming. It could be gloomy now, but the sunshine is coming,
Hmm.
and that's what they instilled in me throughout my entire life.
Hmm. And I'm sure that that kind of mindset helped as well lead up to the NFL draft. I was reading one of your articles, and you talked a lot about you had the pro day at Florida State, was it, and you were killing it, talking with Mike Mayock and whatnot, and then kind of the phones went silent. Talk a bit about what was going through your head at that time, and again how your parents helped you out in that time.
Oh man, we just knew it. We knew it, man. We had a great pro day, man. You talking? I'm still looking back at it. 4.31 laser 40, then a 4.38 laser 40. Uh, Competing against Xavier Rose, who's a Pro Bowler for the Minnesota Vikings. We came in Florida State together, outperforming him. Oh man, it was just amazing day on a slippery day, a rainy day, and we just knew after Mike Mayock said what he said, and keep an eye out for this guy. We just knew how that moment was coming and whatnot. Um, but unfortunately, it didn't happen like we thought it would have. I remember, I was able, being my own agent, I was able to get to the rookie minicamp of Seattle, be on the short list for 49ers, getting Green Bay Packers interested, and then Denver calls me in for a private workout, and then eventually, signed with the Buffalo Bills. But I remember the scouts telling me that, we really thought you would have been drafted, but you was thrown under the bus. And,
Hmm.
still to this day, it's like it doesn't hurt me because I don't hold any grudges. I was able to release that side of me, that dark side of holding grudges or anything like that, because I found peace. It's just at that moment I was like, wow, somebody really would throw a kid under the bus.
Hmm.
That's tough, man. You want to feed your family. You want to do things for your family, but at the end of the day, the positive side, that helped me get rid of weeds, as I say, or bad vibes, or people that doesn't deserve to be on this journey with me or success with me. So I found the truth out of people. So it was a positive out of this terrible situation.
Yeah. What kind of happened throwing under the bus? Obviously, you don't have to name names if you can't. But what were kind of circumstances surrounding that? Because that's something that I really haven't heard before happening leading up to an NFL draft or anything.
Yes. The thing was, they was saying, I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to say names, but it was just he doesn't have a work ethic. He doesn't want to work. He doesn't listen, this and that. But the thing that shows that is not true is because if I didn't have a work ethic, I wouldn't be able to stay in shape as I am now. I wouldn't be fast and stronger now if I did it than I was years ago if I didn't have a work ethic. When I got the Buffalo Bills, my IQ showed. I know it was told that I didn't have an IQ, and I went from seventh on the depth chart with the Buffalo Bills to second screen fighting for first. And players coming to me for tutoring for the playbook. And we played in a difficult playbook. And it's the playbook that the Philadelphia Eagles are using now, the defensive playbook by Coach Jim Schwartz. And that is a 57 defense that you must have an IQ. You cannot be no dummy in that defense. So it was things like that really hurted me because they would take word from a coach before they take word from a player.
Yeah. How much does that motivate you now today, to prove them wrong or to have that chip on your shoulder? Is that still in the back of your mind when you're pursuing your dream of playing NFL football once again?
No, not anymore. Because
No.
I have faith that the door will open back up and I will get back to that stage. If I said
Hmm.
that I was using that as fuel or trying to get revenge, once that happened, the fuel and the motivation will be gone. So I don't want to say, "Oh, I'm using them as fuel." No, because I know we're gonna get back there. It's a okay, you know. Just like they did it. My college coaches didn't know when I dropped out of school. I went back. I went back to school, get my degree. I'm working on classes now for masters and certifications, things like this. I was labeled pretty much, if you want to say, a dummy. I was really labeled that. I was
Hmm.
really
Hmm.
labeled that. But you talk to a guy who became his own agent, who figured out every team's email address, who was able to articulate himself to get himself on short lists, emergency lists, become his own agent, be able to market, start his own business, and etc. Right now I'm working with a company that I was fortunate enough to they started making 40,000 a k. Now the company's up making nearly 90,000 a k. Simply because of what I brought to the table. So it's just wow. I know it's a little off topic, but no, I'm not using it for fuel. It just my fuel is helping others understand that you can overcome something, no matter if someone puts you down or whatnot. You can still achieve. You just got to keep pushing, and eventually, when you get when you get up off a person, eventually they're gonna get up and start moving.
Yeah, yeah. Was that kind of the motivation for you to start your was it your company Make Adjustments Delete Excuses, MADE? Was that the kind of your frame of mind when you were starting that?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I remember it, man. I'm driving. I'm driving around Tallahassee at the time. I was just driving around, and it hit me, man. It was like, you know what? There's no excuses. There's no excuses. It's people who've been through more things than you have, going through things worse than you ever have, and you just need to make adjustments, delete excuse, and just keep going. And I keep thinking I'm always going to bring up my parents, particularly my dad. He was an HVAC worker. He inhaled asbestos, the chemical that deteriorates your lungs. And he never made an excuse. He never made an excuse. Each and every day, just got up and continue to be him, bring positive energy, and keep going. So yes, I came up with make adjustments, delete excuses, because that's life. Life will never be perfect, but you have to keep going. You cannot stop. You have to keep marching forward.
Mhm. What's the or what kind of company is it? Do you do like personal training with it? Do you do consulting? Are you just kind of content creator creating content for other athletes to inspire them?
What it is health and fitness, but I use motivation in it as well. And let me tell you why. Because the thing is, I know my story, what I go through, and what I've been through. I know the purpose is always bigger than me. So I figured out if I use this to motivate others and help them get their lives healthier, eating right, living right, getting body in the shape that they want to be, that I can enhance their mind, body, and spirit. And once I could do that, I'm enhancing lives, encouraging others, and now we have a wave of others just picking up the energy of now living, making adjustments, delete excuses. I can do this. I will do this. I can conquer.
No, for sure. That's like again, it's such a huge part of sports nowadays is the mental health and the
Yeah.
motivation part of it. You see so many athletes that the stereotypical five-star athlete that just has all the skills to be the next great thing, but then something just isn't there mentally. And I think a lot of young kids can use the sort of guidance that you're preaching in order to either take that next step or kind of maintain the level that they're at right now.
Oh, definitely. It's a lot of things, especially these young kids, man. It's so much. You have the social media. You want to impress somebody on social media. You want to respond to this. They have this to say. You really have to learn how to ignore the noise. You have to really control that 6 inch between your ears, man. You have to really focus on you. You have to be in tune with your star player with it, which is you. And a lot of athletes, they get out of that element. They forget that, if you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of nothing else. Or my favorite one is, it's all about loyalty, but at the end of the day, self loyalty is taking care of yourself, man, and just focusing in on who you are, becoming a greater you, tapping into your greatness. But you can't do that if you're not ignoring the noise that's out there, and that's negative energy, instead of taking in the positive energy.
For sure. I know you talked a bit about kind of different teams, different leagues you played for. It's been over all over the country. And even I know you came up to Canada for a bit for mini camps. How do you kind of manage being away from home, being away from your family as you're traveling all around the country? I assume you were doing that all alone as well. You didn't have any family travel with you.
Yes, man, it's pretty tough. It's tough. Like I said, I was in Baltimore. My dad passed, and it was tough not to be there. I know he didn't want me there. I could tell, and I feel like I granted his wish because I could hear in his voice he didn't want me back home to see him in that predicament. However, yes, it's tough. I have a wife. We got married May 25th of this year, and just traveling and going different places. It's like, wow, I'm leaving my wife. She's working on a doctorate. I'm here. I'm there. But the thing is, my family, my support team, they understand. They know how important it is to me to get to that pinnacle and use that as a platform to help others. They know how important it is, and I really commend them. I really thank them,
Mhm.
and I'm very fortunate because a lot of people do not have that on their support team.
Yeah. I know you mentioned in one of your articles that at one point money and fame was kind of your motivation. And now your motivation is kind of the people around you to inspire them and to inspire others. When did you kind of make that switch in motivation? Was there a specific time or a specific thing that happened that made you switch? Or was it kind of just a bunch of things happening and then, kind of just led into that?
Well, I feel like it was just the events of things that led up, and I'm going back to make sure you have the right people in your circle. Because at that first stage, when I first was coming out, and I was like, yeah, man, I want to get the money, I could do this, blah blah blah. But that fed into those I was around or associated with it at the time. Everything was about money. Everything was about attention. But as people start seeing that maybe this window is shutting or the tunnel's getting darker, they disappeared. And I found out who was truly there. And then I started realizing that, you know what? It's not about me. It's about honoring my ancestors and those came before me, my parents, those who are in my circle now who are very supportive because they the ones sticking around. That's hard to stay supportive to someone who's a dream that could be considered impossible, and they are right there. I must support them. I must do it for them, And then after I do it for them, look who's watching. It's somebody's coming after me. It's somebody who's need that extra motivation and looking for it to say, you know what? It's never too late. I'm possible. I'm turning impossible to I'm possible. So once I hit that stage, man, I'm at peace. And I tell you, I have to give a lot of credit to my mother, my father, and my wife. Those three right there, they really helped me transition to a more peaceful and at peace man that I am today.
For sure, man. I can tell, your voice and reading your articles and everything that um just kind of the place that you're at mentally and spiritually. Um, and I think that that's really inspiring for a lot of young athletes out there that are, chasing the money and the fame and knowing that, that only gets you so far. And that motivation can only get you so far because that's going to go away one day.
Hmm.
What's there at the end of the day is your family, your friends, you know, things that make you just feel good inside. Money and fame, those are kind of external things that those external pressures, but you really need to have a love for the game and a love to inspire others in order to kind of succeed the way that you're trying to.
Yes, yes, definitely, man. Because
So what's your oh, go ahead, sorry.
oh no, I just gonna say, because I'm looking at this as well. When my wife and I get ready to start a family, if it's, I could say, kids, you just keep pushing and you do the right things, be patient, and things can open up for you. And they could say, honestly, say, my dad did that, so I know it could happen. You know, because one thing I tell you, everybody wants you to be, you have to practice what you preach. You definitely have to
Yeah,
do that. So that's what I'm saying. What I'm doing now, I know I'll be able to pass this on for generations and generations to come. So you will definitely be able to see little seeds growing of hard, determined workers and entrepreneurs and businessmen and businesswomen because they know what it takes, but they saw their father or their granddad or their great granddad do it, and that's the foundation I want to lay down.
for sure. What's your day-to-day looking like now training to get back into the NFL? How often are you training per week? How many hours per day?
Oh man, my schedule is wow. So with me training clients and being my own agent, PR, and all that above,
Yeah, yeah.
I usually, like I say, I start my day like 4:15 in the morning. All right. I train my clients from like 5 to 6. Come back, relax, get some sleep, get some breakfast, and I train 5 times a week. And if it's not from the time frame of like around maybe 11:30 to 1, it's usually gonna be at night around 8 to about 10:30 or something like that. So I have to find my ways to work out. Some days I have to break it up. I have to do cardio in the morning, weights in the afternoon, and fundamental techniques at night. So some type of way I find a way. And it comes back to make adjustments, delete excuses. So I have to make adjustments throughout this whole process to make sure that I'm getting what I need so I could be ready when the time comes.
Man, that sounds like crazy crazy hours in the day.
Oh
For
yeah.
waking up at 4:15 AM, I have trouble waking up at 9 some days. Waking up at 4:15 is just crazy. How do you, or I guess, I mean, I'm gonna assume that some days are easier than others and, there are some real struggle days in there. How do you kinda just stay focused and not give up when there's, those moments where you're just like, "Man, this is real tough."
Passion. My passion
It's
wakes
all
me up.
about passion, eh?
Yes, my passion keeps it going, man. It's times, yes, I wake up. Sometimes I look at the alarm like, why?
Yeah.
Why? But then I think when I say my why, I realize I know my why. And my why is enhancing lives, helping others. And when I get to that gym, I get help others achieve something that they thought they couldn't. Help them overcome things that kept them down and get through obstacles. And that cheers me up. And then you talking early in the morning, I'm fired up. And I'm like, wow, okay. So I'm gonna use the same energy they giving me back, and they don't even understand what they're doing for me. And I'm gonna put it into myself. And it just constantly roll the energy, the energy. You'll hear me speak on it a lot. But that right there, passion, man. I tell people all the time, you can have all the adrenaline in the world. We could and eventually that adrenaline gonna wear out. But one thing about passion, it goes nowhere. It will be with you forever.
That's interesting. There's one guy that I follow on Instagram, YouTube, whatever, all social media channels. His name's Gary Vaynerchuk. I don't know if you ever heard of him or come across his profile. It's Gary V on Instagram and Twitter and the main handles. He talks a lot about inspiring people to kind of follow their passions. And he's saying, kind of to paraphrase him, you better make sure that you have a passion for what you do. Because if you don't like what you're going to do, someone out there is going to like it more than you, and they're inevitably going to be working harder than you at it. So if you don't absolutely love what you do and are so passionate about it, someone out there is going to love it more or be more passionate. And then, just the way that things work, if you're more passionate about it, you're going to put in more work and they're going to do better than you. So it's real, it's interesting to hear you talk about passion, and because that's something that I listen to a lot of Gary V, and he talks a lot about passion, and that's, one of the reasons why I started this podcast, one of the reasons I'm doing a lot of other things is because of passion. And I think that if you're not living your life doing things you're passionate about, then it's going to be a lot harder to be happy day to day.
Oh yeah, I totally agree. Yes, definitely.
Listen, man, thanks a lot for doing this tonight. For guys or girls that want to check you out on social media, how can they reach you?
You can reach me at Jajuan M as in Michael Harley, as JajuanMHarley. And you can also check out my website, post some newer blogs and workouts and everything at JajuanHarley.com. That's www.JajuanHarley.com.
Awesome, man. Again, thanks a lot for doing this. We'll keep in touch, and we'll have to do this again someday.
All right. Thank you for having me here. It's a great honor. Thank you so much.
Have a good one, man.
You too.
Once again, guys, thanks for checking out this episode of Inside the Mind, a podcast about athletes. If you enjoyed any part of this episode, please share it with your friends and family, and I'll talk to you next time.